Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're taking on literally one of the most universal, draining, and destructive forces in human psychology. I'm talking about worry. But we aren't just going to sit here and talk about it, we're actually going to actively defeat it. Our goal for this explainer is to distill the absolute essentials of Dale Carnegie's timeless survival guide into a highly actionable playbook that you can grasp in 8 minutes or less. We're stripping away all the fluff and focusing purely on the practical, proven techniques that have already helped millions of people find real security and happiness. So get ready to take some mental notes because we're about to completely rewire how you handle stress.
Listen to this clinical warning from the world-famous physician, Dr. Alexis Carrel: those who do not know how to fight worry die young. The stakes here are incredibly high. Worry isn't just a fleeting bad mood or some temporary state of mind. It extracts a massive physical price on your health. We're talking sick headaches, stomach ulcers, just pure total exhaustion. The physiological reality is that uncontrolled anxiety literally shortens our lives. If we actually want to thrive, learning to fight this invisible enemy isn't just some optional self-help trend. It's a biological imperative.
And that brilliantly brings us to our solutions for today. We are cracking open Dale Carnegie's absolute classic, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Now, this isn't just some collection of empty platitudes. No way. It's an action-oriented playbook. The strategies inside are grounded in the real, gritty experiences of everyday people who hit rock bottom and somehow found a way to climb back out and achieve genuine peace of mind. We're going to capture the absolute core of these teachings, translating them into immediate, actionable steps that you can use the exact second this explainer is over.
What's really fascinating is the origin story of the author himself. Back in 1909, Dale Carnegie was not the successful, happy figure we think of today. Actually, he was one of the unhappiest young men in New York City. He was making a living selling motor trucks, a job he absolutely despised. He lived in this lonely, cheap, furnished room on West 56th Street, where he literally had to scatter cockroaches off his neckties every single morning. He was eating awful food and coming home every single night with a sick headache, fueled by just pure disappointment, bitterness, and intense worry. He realized right then and there that worry is a miserable dream killer. We all face these dark, overwhelming moments where life just feels like a trap, but Carnegie made a decision to change his life. And that first crucial step was changing his mindset. So the crucial point is understanding the very first rule to keeping worry out of your life entirely. It comes from the great physician Sir William Osler, and it's called living in day-tight compartments. Imagine a massive ocean liner. In an emergency, the captain can just press a button and instantly shut these heavy iron doors, dividing the ship into watertight compartments so it won't sink. Well, you need to do the exact same thing with your mind. You have to shut the iron doors on the past, those dead yesterdays that you just cannot change, and shut the iron doors on the future, those unborn tomorrows that haven't even happened yet. By isolating your focus to literally just today, right up until bedtime, you immediately cut off the primary fuel sources of fear.
But wait, what happens when trouble, with a capital T, backs you into a corner today? That's exactly where Willis H. Carrier's three-step magic formula comes into play. First, you look the problem right in the eye and ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that can possibly happen if I can't solve this? Second, you prepare yourself mentally to accept that worst-case scenario if it's absolutely necessary. And honestly, this step is pure magic. Why? Because the very second you mentally agree to accept the worst, you stop that frantic, panic-driven tension, and your mind just instantly clears. You finally relax. And then comes step 3. You calmly devote your time and energy to trying to improve upon that worst-case scenario that you've already accepted. It literally transforms you from a paralyzed victim into an active problem solver.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an even more robust system for business and complex personal problems. This is Galen Litchfield's 4-step analysis method. First, write down exactly what you are worrying about. Second, write down what you can actually do about it. Third, decide what to do. And fourth, and this is the absolute kicker here, start immediately to carry out that decision. Half the worry in the world is caused by people trying to make decisions before they have sufficient knowledge. Getting the bare facts down on paper is vital. But as Litchfield noted, unless you follow through with immediate action, all that fact-finding is just whistling upwind. It's a total waste of energy. Action is the ultimate cure.
Which brings us to a massive pivot point in our explainer. We've looked at the structured formulas, the deep analytical tools for those specific crises, but what about the day-to-day anxiety? That constant low-level hum of stress? How do we break the habit of worry before it breaks us? Because make no mistake about it, worry is a habit. It's a groove worn super deep into our brains by pure repetition. To outlaw it, we really need rapid-fire daily mindset shifts that we can deploy at a moment's notice to completely rewire our default reactions. So here are 6 rapid-fire rules to keep your mind bulletproof. First, keep busy. Plenty of action is absolutely the best therapy ever devised for curing what is brilliantly called the whibber-jibbers. When you lose yourself in action, your blood circulates, your mind ticks, and worry is just naturally crowded out. Second, ignore trifles. Do not let little things, the mere termites of life, ruin your happiness. Third, use the law of averages. Just pause and ask yourself, what are the actual, realistic odds this bad thing will even happen? Fourth, cooperate with the inevitable. If a circumstance is totally beyond your power to change, just say to yourself, it is so, it cannot be otherwise. Fifth, put a stop-loss order on your anxiety. Decide exactly how much worry a thing is worth and refuse to give it a single drop more. And finally, don't saw sawdust. The past is the past. All the king's horses cannot put it together again, so let the past bury its dead.
Taking control of your mind is really the ultimate act of reclaiming your life. It means totally rejecting the sick headaches, the roach-infested mental spaces, and those endless, paralyzing cycles of anxiety. By living in day-tight compartments, analyzing the actual facts, accepting the worst so you can improve upon it, and losing yourself in constructive action, you literally crowd worry right out of your existence. You stop sawing sawdust and you start actually living. So ask yourself today, what iron doors are you going to shut on your past so you can finally master your present? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters.